Let me know. I don't know if the mayor's coming in or if he's calling, but let me know. Okay.
Monday through Saturday. Coin and Hobby, 304-232-8430, and add them on Facebook.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Protecting you isn't just our job, it's our passion. If 2020 has proven anything, it's that anything can happen. You need to have the right partner to guide you through insurance pitfalls to make sure your business is adequately covered. From your property and equipment to your employees and your family, Glessner Wharton Andrews Insurance has the drive and the ability to keep you protected.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Hello, everyone.
Alrighty, thank you.
Daytime high near 77. Clouds holding strong through the evening and the overnight. Chance of scattered showers with temperatures down to about 58 degrees. Mostly cloudy with a few sprinkles in the forecast, maybe a light shower late in the day for your Wednesday with highs in the lower 70s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Do you know what today is?
It's June 1st. It's National Say Something Nice Day.
Say something nice.
Today is National Say Something Nice Day.
Say something nice.
Say something nice.
Something nice.
I'll just say something nice that's actually true.
Well, you've got the whole world listening. What do you got to say?
You guys are the best.
You guys are the best.
Greatest show ever.
Wait, what?
Yeah, let's not go overboard.
Showtime.
Grab a cup of coffee or your favorite breakfast beverage and listen or watch the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe during the 100 Days of Summer.
A new week, a new month, a new season. Now we're in the 100 days of summer. Some people call it the rebound summer. Coming out of the pandemic. Last year was the retrench summer. This is the rebound summer. And feeling good, feeling good. Great day yesterday for Memorial Day. Today is going to be a darker day, although right now it's pretty nice outside. 60 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. Clear skies there. 60 degrees, clear skies here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 60 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Now, today is going to be 74, 75, somewhere in that range. Not bad. It's going to be mostly overcast. Might see a little ray of sunshine. No rain, but starting tomorrow, 2 or 3 days of showers and thunderstorms. So be prepared for that. I'll get to this Friends reunion thing we've talked about earlier. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later on this morning before I turn things over to Mr. Kercheval at 10 o'clock. But right now, I want to talk with Wheeling's Mayor Glenn Elliott. Mr. Mayor, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Monroe.
Did you have a good holiday weekend, I hope?
I sure did. Sure did. We had a beautiful ceremony yesterday at the Spirit of the Doughboy statue. It was very nice.
Yeah, I saw your notes on that. Sounded like it was a pretty good event. Well attended, I hope?
It was. Several hundred people there, which was a very good turnout. The weather was perfect. It was a beautiful day. One of the highlights was Joe Gomper's local attorney, who I believe was 96 or 97 now, was actually there when that statue was dedicated back in 1931 when his father spoke. So it was great to see him there for its rededication as well. A really beautiful moment where he laid a wreath there as well.
It's nice to see the statue redone too. Refurbished. I mean, it's a really critical piece of Ohio Valley history. Everybody knows the Doughboy there at the park, and it was neat to see. I really appreciate the folks who got together, the fundraising to send it off, have it refurbished and brought back. It looks all spruced up, spiffed up now.
It really does. Looks great at night too, and it's just a great addition. Getting it back there, and it was delayed about a year because of the pandemic, but it was nice to see it put back in place. Margaret Brennan, Sean Duffy, and other folks at the library did a great job there, so we couldn't be more pleased with it.
So, Mr. Mayor, as you are wont to do on Friday, I got a little note from you. You thought it's not unusual to get a note from the mayor. I'll tell you that on Fridays when McCabe and I have our rants. So, you felt that maybe. I'm going to say John, but you can say both those. You felt that maybe John was a little overboard when he said the city was flailing and looked for a vision or a mission, and that we don't have any vision or mission for the city.
I didn't appreciate the comments, and I know. Look, I mean, I would expect the purpose of you and John's show is not to, tell folks how great the city is or how great I am. I get that. And I'm used to criticism, but I just felt like it was a shot at really nothing. Like, there is a vision, which really I think has been very, very consistent on city councils since I first got elected back in 2016. We have, if you look at what we've done, it's kind of followed a similar vision on making Wheeling, on sort of enhancing Wheeling's quality of life to make us more competitive. What we have not done is adopt some formal plan and call it the 2024 plan or whatever. A lot of people advised against that because, as you know, city county building is filled with plans that go back to the 1960s that were never really implemented, and the word plan has a bad idea. So we've never really formally adopted a plan, but we can go through a lot of different things we've done that I think all are part of a consistent vision for how to make this more competitive going forward.
So you're the vision, and I'm not asking you to write a vision statement, but sort of just in general, the vision is to improve quality of life issues. That you think that's what you see the city's movement towards is right now.
It's always, I think there's always a pull and tug between, okay, what does the city need? Do we need more jobs or do we need more quality of life? If you look around and talk to local employers, and I was just in a meeting the other day with a local head of Williams Lee here. They have 93 open positions right now they cannot fill. And to me, the issue is not that we suffer from a lack of jobs here. We suffer from a lack of people to fill those jobs, and that's because those people, people from 20 all the way up to 40, have, for the most part, left the city during prior decades looking for greener pastures elsewhere. We need to make Wheeling a place where those young folks want to stay and live and thrive. And the way you do that, if you go back and look at some of the things we focused on, people want to have a downtown that's vibrant. People want to have a parks and recreation system, especially playgrounds in different neighborhoods where they can take their kids to. People want to have, young people in particular want to live in communities that are inclusive. The city council a couple of years ago passed a non-discrimination ordinance for LGBT people that makes us a more inclusive city compared to others in the state of West Virginia. People want to see, they want to see the roads paved. They want to see the sewers fixed. We've spent a lot of money in the last 5 years, a record amount of money paving streets, and we've entered into like a long-term plan to really upgrade the city's water and sewer infrastructure. They want to live in a place that's safe. And our city council has made a consistent investment in public safety facilities, new headquarters for police and fire departments. So we've done a lot of things that are enhancing the quality of life here. We're obviously not where we need to be, and right now we're not getting a ton of help because a lot of the state construction projects are all happening at once on the highways, and downtown streetscape's been a mess. We got I-70s projects going on. We got the bridge in Elm Grove. I know is an issue for you, but those are all state-controlled matters the city really has no say on. And so that's all happening at once, and I get it. People are frustrated. But to suggest that the city has no vision, that we're somehow, quote, flailing, I think was a little bit just off the mark when you look at things that we have done and things we are continuing to do.
If we build it, they will come. Is that the philosophy?
Oh, part of it. I mean, people want more than ever today. People are choosing where they want to live first, and then where they want to work second. And that was just exacerbated by COVID, where now a lot more companies are going to remote working. So you can live anywhere. For a lot of jobs now, you can live wherever you want, and you can still work online, or at least part of the time work online. So you can live in a low-cost place like Wheeling that still has two professional sports teams, that has a symphony, that has Ogilvy Park, that has a dog park, that has all these different playgrounds around the neighborhoods. If you can live in a place like that and still have a high quality of life because your dollar goes a little bit further here, and then work somewhere else to make a higher income, I mean, that's a great opportunity. But we have to have the things. We have to meet those expectations. We need to have a downtown that has a little bit more vibrancy to it. We focused on downtown housing, and we've got some projects queued up that are going to happen that's really going to expand that. We need more microbreweries downtown. We need more people, after 5 o'clock walking around downtown. We've tried to invest in walkability, make that a thing. I know you and I have gone back and forth on that a little bit, but even my, probably what people most associate me with my failed effort on two-way traffic was an effort to make downtown more walkable for people. And we failed on that, but what we got out of it was the streetscape project's going to have what's called enhanced one-way traffic, which is going to different measures built into the environment to slow down cars a little bit to make it more walkable. So all these things we're doing are driven by desire to make Wheeling a better place for folks to live. And I think if we get that right, the jobs will come, and then the employers will see that people want to live here, so the employers will be drawn to this community. When you have an employer like Williams Lee that has 93 open positions, when you have work that can't fill all their positions, I talk to employers across the city who can't fill positions. Problem is not just the lack of jobs here. The problem is we're not meeting everyone's expectations, and that's what we have to. That's what we have to keep focusing on.
Yeah, the city kind of was ahead of the curve on where I think some cities in West Virginia are turning now. We talked to John Deskins from WVU's Bureau of Business and Economic Research a week or so ago about how some economic development, air quotes there, kind of maybe needs to rethink itself a little bit. We've always thought in terms of bringing a big plant in or bringing a big business in or, finding a big stretch of land that we can promote. And those things are going to continue on, of course. But as a result of COVID and the remote working and so on, there's a little bit of a shift now in bringing people in here because they want to be here to work. Not the companies, but the individual business people. And I will say this. The city council, the last one and this one, have been trying to make some improvements. Now, I still swear at you every time I drive through downtown Wheeling, and I know it's not your fault. I know it's not your fault.
Yeah,
but I still swear at you.
Well, one of the things that, and I'm not complaining, it's reality. Cities in West Virginia don't have the same autonomy that cities in other states do, especially like Ohio across the river. So we're limited in the way we can raise funds. We have we turn to the user fee to fund our police and fire headquarters. A lot of people don't like that, but the only reason we did that is because we're really limited in ways we can raise money versus city in Ohio, like Martins Ferry or Bridgeport, whatever, can have a 1% income tax, and that solves a lot of their needs in terms of their budgetary needs. The other issue in West Virginia is, cities have absolutely no say at all when it comes to decisions on state roads that bisect cities. So we're in the position on the downtown streetscape of begging, and that's really all we can do, and all we've been able to do is beg and lobby. I've made many trips to Charleston. I've been on the phone with many legislators to get the streetscape project funded. But we can't tell the state when to do this streetscape project or how to do it. I couldn't even get the state to put a stop sign down at the intersection of 16th and Main Street, which I've asked for many years. When the Bory Lost project was completed, I felt like a stop sign there was important for people, because everyone who lives in that building parks across the street. The state wouldn't do that. We don't have the opportunity to make those decisions in our own cities, and it's a little bit frustrating because we're trying to build a neighborhoods here, especially in the downtown, make it more of a neighborhood, make it more livable, and state highway laws still look at downtown as a traffic loop, and stuff like that's a little bit frustrating. And other states have more flexibility in that regard, but we're fighting against these types of things. And if you look at the state of West Virginia as a whole, it doesn't have any big cities, first of all. It doesn't have a lot of cities that are really vibrant downtowns. And I think part of it is we need to look at our state laws a little bit and give us some more flexibility. Let cities figure out what makes the most sense for Main and Mark Street downtown. Don't subject us to these statewide traffic rules based on cars per minute and all these different formulas that don't take into account what people on the street walking actually see and experience.
I'm with you on all of that. I think, unfortunately, it's a lost cause. Also, I will point out, while I think that the cities should have more autonomy, you saw what happened in this last legislature. The mood of the legislature is to take it away from you, not give it to you.
It was a very frustrating legislative session, and I tried to keep my comments under wrap. I think the Confederate monuments issue really sent me over the top, and I had a pretty long post about it, and I know that angered some friends in the legislature. But at the same point, like the absolute worst direction we should be going as a state right now is to take autonomy away from cities. People are moving to cities across the country, especially smaller cities right now in the post-COVID world. And we need to give our cities all the tools they can to innovate and compete. So people who may be moving from a larger urban center to a city in West Virginia are still going to have a lot of their expectations met. A couple of years ago, we worked really hard to bring Uber here. It doesn't seem like a big thing. Uber right now is barely used because in the post-pandemic, it's just coming back. But Uber is something that if you live in a big city, you absolutely expect to have. It's part of the quality of life you get there. So that's why we worked to bring it here, not because I thought it was going to change the world, but because I thought it's just one more expectation where if we can keep chipping away at all these things that people don't think we have that we actually can provide here, it's going to make us more competitive. And eventually we're going to reach a point where people say, why am I living in New York City and paying $5,000 a month for a 1,000 square foot apartment when I could live in Wheeling, and for that I could own a 6-bedroom house? And a legislative session, to me, was almost a rejection of the right of cities to govern themselves, which seems odd considering that, so many folks in the legislature call themselves conservatives, and normally conservatism is about local control, but we saw the exact opposite come out of the session, and it's just frustrating because we're trying to go in one direction, and sometimes I feel like we're being pulled back.
Yeah, I don't want to relitigate the legislative session, but it also was a "we don't want your kind here" session.
Yeah,
which was really frustrating to me.
It did not say welcome to West Virginia. We're the friendly city here in Wheeling, and if the state really wants to advance the ball in that conversation, pass a statewide non-discrimination ordinance, so all these cities haven't had to actually do the fight to do it themselves. Don't go in the opposite direction. They tried to take away the rights of cities and actually override all the cities who passed those ordinances and actually have it be state law that cities cannot do that. That's not conservatism, first of all, and it's not making West Virginia more competitive. We were one of the only states that lost population, Howard. And I ask our friends in the legislature, ask why. It's not because we're trying to be more backwards. I mean, if we want to keep people here, we have to look around at what's happening in the rest of the world and the rest of the country, and we have to wake up. And we're doing our best in Wheeling, but sometimes it's nice to be getting help. Yeah.
Let me just say, in point of fact, this legislative session was trying to be more backward.
Yeah. Well, I think they were, and I don't blame everyone in the legislature for that, but I think there's a handful of members from some of the different counties who really just pushed some backward policies, and it's almost grievance-laden politics where stuff I see on cable news, it may not even be the problem here. The House passed a bill which would prevent cities from banning straws, even though no city in West Virginia even talked about banning straws. This is something they saw on cable news, and they felt like it's a big issue, and they spent big hours of floor time on this. Stopping cities from banning straws is not going to make West Virginia more competitive. It may make someone feel better, but, I hope they wake up and realize that, we're competing against, it's a global economy now, and we're competing against a lot of cities that aren't having these backward battles. They're looking at ways to make their neighborhoods more vibrant and downtowns. And I'll bring back about luster. We just have to move past these antiquated arguments and really start thinking about the future. And John Deskins, you mentioned him earlier. He's someone who I think gets it. I really appreciate every time I listen to him. I think he does get it. But I think sometimes he's talking to people who don't listen to him.
I think that's true. We're talking to Wheeling Mayor Glenn Elliott this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Mr. Mayor, have you had a chance to see or read through this greater regional plan prepared by the WVU Bureau of Business and Economic Research on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce?
I haven't read through it all. I just skimmed it. I wasn't even aware it was taking place until recently. So I'll certainly look at it. I know, we've been working with John Deskins through the West Virginia Municipal League on some other issues to make cities more competitive from a financial standpoint. We're looking at ways to give cities a little bit more flexibility and actually having them do some studies on that. But I'm not completely familiar with the plan. I did read the summaries of it that made the newspaper and otherwise. I think some of it makes sense. I think it was a little short on specific steps that we need to be taking as a state. But, I'll certainly give it a close review going forward.
Yeah, my thought, as we talked about this on Friday, but and it goes back to your comment maybe about, maybe we don't need more plans. It really, all it did was say there are more questions that need to be answered. I know when I talked to Erica Storch about, and by the way, she's on with us tomorrow to talk about this plan, but when I talked to her before the work was done, she said, we're hoping to get a very specific directed plan on what we should do. And I don't think we got that. This was really more of lots of questions still need to be answered. So maybe there's a next phase to that. Mr. Mayor, what I really wanted to talk to you about, we don't have a whole lot of time, but I want to get at least a minute or two in this. It ties in with all of this, of course. The city is getting its fair share of federal money now. The state's got $670 million new dollars coming in, and we've talked to a lot of our local legislators about how do you use that wisely. It's transformative money used properly. City's getting, am I right, about $29 million, something like that?
That's correct. We've gotten our first installment, which is roughly $15 million or $14.5 million. That came in about a week or so ago, and we'll get the remaining installment within a year of that. So in the next 2 years, or next year, the city will get a total of $29.1 million, and that's a considerable infusion of cash, which does come with some strings. And city staff's been going through the guidelines that did come out. I've gone through them. We have some consultants looking at the guidelines in terms of ways of what we can and can't do, because what we don't want to do is spend the money improperly, because then there's a process in there where the federal government can actually sort of recoup the funds. So we want to make sure that everything we spend is completely appropriate. Now, there's some things that are very, very clear where you have very broad authority to spend money on, and that's water and sewer infrastructure, broadband, for example. Those are things we obviously have needs in the city in that regard. So we'll certainly, I think it's safe to say a third or so or more of the funds are probably going to be going to something like that. But there's a lot of other stuff in the guidelines for what's called qualified census tracts. And Wheeling has several qualified census tracts. It's basically low-income areas when you look at the census data. Wheeling Island, downtown qualifies, parts of East Wheeling qualify as qualified census tracts, where you have a little bit more flexibility in spending money on doing things like addressing housing issues, addressing homelessness, addressing different sort of health issues, different types. You have a little bit more flexibility in those regards. The guidelines also have a lot of language about the hospitality industry and tourism. Those are things where we can certainly use some help. But I think the overarching guideline for me is going to be: are we just spending money and fixing something right now, or are we spending money away that's going to be an investment, down the road? Because this money is not going to be coming again, at least not in any of our lifetimes. I don't think that we're going to have another pandemic at the same type situation. So we want this to be a meaningful investment, and we'll be discussing here soon the best way to have these conversations as a council and to get some public input on it, whether we do it from one of the committees of council, whether we do it as a council whole with a work session or whatever. But I would like to get some public input because we don't have all the wisdom on ways to spend this. But the one thing I know though is the guidelines are they give us some flexibility, but at the same time, it's not like we can just go out and spend money on anything we want to do. We have to be really careful to make sure that it fits into one of the pre-existing sort of paths in those guidelines.
Well, you don't need a lecture from me, and you already said this basically in this last segment, but to me, the most important thing, first of all, is just don't fritter it away. That's my great fear at the state level, the city level. It's easy to get, it's like on our own personal checkbook. You get a little influx of cash, shows up in your checking book. The next thing you know, you're writing a check here, you're writing a check there, and all of a sudden it's gone. I mean, I don't know what your game plan will be, but I think there needs to be a game plan. There needs to be a really thoughtful, thought out plan for this, not just frittering it away. And I'm not lecturing because I know that you know that as well, and you're going to pay attention to that.
Well, from talking to different members of council, right now it's safe to say we have about 7 different ideas on the best ways these monies should be spent. So, we have to come to some consensus amongst ourselves. I think the way to do that is to maybe get some public input as well and kind of present some options out there so people kind of understand the framework in which we're allowed to spend these monies. But I'm absolutely committed that, an overarching guideline is going to be that we're making actually meaningful investments in our community that are going to build upon themselves. We're not just addressing sort of short-term gaps and needs because, this is money that really is intended to be transformational to help cities get out I sort of get back and thrive in the post-pandemic economy. I think things are going to start picking up here very, very soon. I think the economy as a national economy is going to be picking up here soon this summer as more people start to travel and get back out there. And we want to make sure that we're making the right investments here to get Wheeling off and running here as things really start to get back to normal.
Acknowledging that the city staff will have a lot of input into this, recognize that all council members have their own ideas. And again, I sincerely hope, and you said you would, that you have an opportunity for the public to get some input into this, public forums or town hall meetings or something where you can deal with that. Having said all that and acknowledging, therefore, we're a far cry from forming a plan, where would you like to spend the money? What do you think? Where are some areas you think the money might be spent?
Well, like I said, just without that, I come up with actual numbers. I think we definitely have needs on the water and infrastructure side where we can fix some issues that are kind of issues that have been talked about for a while, but I haven't risen to the level of urgency where we put them in our main plan, but are still out there. We've had some flash flooding incidents in Elm Grove and Woodsdale and in Warwood here in recent years where, we get these microbursts and it impacts people's basements and all that stuff. So those are things we like to look at if we can maybe fix some of the worst issues there. I'd like us to look at, look at some of our neighborhoods that are struggling and figure out ways we can address some housing issues. We have a homeless problem that I'd like to figure out ways we can address, and there is some flexibility in there for housing and homelessness issues, especially and what I mentioned, the qualified census tract. So I'd like us to look at that. We've talked about homelessness for the entire time I've been in office and for years before that, but the problem seems to be getting worse, not better. And I think we need to look at sort of addressing some of the causes and not just dealing with the symptoms, which is often the way governments deal with these things. So, we have to look at that. There are ways I'd like to see some money set aside for businesses to compete for grants to make investments in their businesses. I think, the guidelines talk a lot about addressing issues related to COVID. Now, I'm not sure going forward how relevant that'll be, but for example, one thing that specifically mentioned in there, if you want to give restaurants the ability to make more outdoor seating venues, that's something that you can use those funds for. So that's something that, whether or not we're in a pandemic situation, I think more outdoor seating is a good thing, and that's something we'll probably look at. But different ways for businesses to have grants where businesses, there's X amount of dollars sitting in a pot, and the business can apply for it based on some set of principles and guidelines, and they're competitive grants, whether they're grants or forgivable loans. But I would see that money if you give money like that to businesses, it's going to go right back into the local economy. It's going to be spent. It's going to create jobs. Things like that are what I'd like to see. But, I don't have a complete blueprint of what my idea would be. And like I said, I'm just one member of a 7-member council talking to folks. Every day someone's coming at us saying, we need to look at this, or can you do this, or whatever. So we'll get to a consensus soon. And I think it is important that we get there soon because, this money is now in our account, and it's on us to get it back out there into the economy as quickly as possible. So give us a month or two, and I think we'll have things ready to go.
Mr. Mayor, appreciate your time today. You're wheeling no two ways about it tomorrow. Geez, coming quickly because we have a Monday off tomorrow.
It's coming quickly this week, yes.
Yeah,
we'll see you tomorrow
on
at noon.
The Watchdog. So,
hey, thank you, Howard. Always appreciate it.
We'll hear more conversation, I'm sure, about all of this kind of stuff and other things. And then I'll probably get some kind of a text from you on Friday when John and I talk about things.
Well, hey, at least I listened to your show. You should give me credit for that.
I do indeed. I appreciate it. Thanks, Glenn. Talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Wheeling Mayor Glenn Elliott this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Yeah, Fridays I can always count on a text from the mayor. John and I are always off on something that Mayor Elliott wants to get a comment on. How did he phrase it last week? I would disagree strongly with Mr. McCabe's notion we are flailing in the city, or the general notion there is no vision. So you heard him respond to that. All right, I want to talk about Friends if I have time. Golly, I'm so far behind time. Jeez. 9:36, 24 till the hour, 60 degrees here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
1967. I'm Bill DeFabio. On sports, and we are the Watchdog.
What is Real Big Talk? Well, it's an honest conversation that you can be a part of no matter which way you lean. I'm Big Rick, your host of Real Big Talk, and I invite you to join me, Lola, and the rest of this community to discuss our world and the events that unfold daily. Be a part of the conversation at 304-214-1600. Real Big Talk, weekdays 2 to 5 on the Watchdog.
Jobs, jobs, and more jobs. If you're looking for employment, the WTRF Ohio Valley Job and Career Fair is the place to be. On June 10th at the Wheeling Park Ice Rink, come prepared to meet with employers from a variety of industries that are looking to hire entry-level to experienced workers. Dress professionally, bring copies of your resume, and be prepared for on-site interviews. Don't miss the WTRF Ohio Valley Job and Career Fair on June 10th at the Wheeling Park Ice Rink. For more information or to see how your business can participate, visit the Job and Career page on WTRF.com.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
We live for piles of paper, countless calculations, and exact, on-the-button balances. More than a phone call at the end of the year to make sure you're square with Uncle Sam. We're an internal resource to run payroll, manage bookkeeping, handle accounts payable, prep and file taxes, and consult for the long-term financial health of your business. Always exact. Glessner and Associates.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Catch Biff Leonard on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. Weekday morning 7 to 10 a.m. Only on the Watchdog. Live and local talk radio. Just the way you like it. Valley Grove. The Watchdog is protecting your yard. Join Howard Monroe, Hoppy Kercheval, Bill DeFabio, and Big Rick for the best live and local talk in the Upper Ohio Valley and beyond. Valley Grove trusts the Watchdog.
Live and local for the Ohio Valley, the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
$60 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 60 degrees and beginning to be cloudy here at my home studios. In the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, 60 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. I've talked about this Friends reunion on HBO all morning long. Wanted to just take a minute or two to flesh out some of that and have a little fun with it as well. I am a huge fan of the Friends TV show. It wasn't must-see TV. I mean, it wasn't like The Sopranos where I had to watch it every week, but I watched Friends most of the time when it was on, and I watched it a lot in reruns, have in the past, and still do. I liked those characters. I liked the whole premise of these group of friends living in New York, sort of growing up together. So I was really interested in the HBO Max Friends reunion show, which they had premiered last Thursday. My wife and I watched it over the weekend. But the first thing I just want to talk about before I talk about the show is I get so sick and tired of people wanting to make everything, Biffy, there are people who just want to make everything some kind of a social issue, we got to have a social issue about this. Article in front of me here, I forgot to print out where it's from. Fans of the beloved sitcom Friends have been clamoring for cast reunion or dancing in the streets. Ross, Rachel, Monica, Chandler, Joey, and Phoebe are finally back together again in the Friends reunion. But it's not a moment of celebration for everyone. They should have called this the one where they ignored diversity again. At a time when the TV landscape is becoming increasingly diverse and inclusional, it's uncomfortable and inappropriate to raise a glass to a sitcom that was blind to the multiculturalism of the world where it took place. Oh, for God's sake. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I just wanted to watch the show, have fun, enjoy the people that were in there. And, if they had a gay or a lesbian or a black person in there, it would have been fine. They didn't. That's okay, too. It was just a fun show, for God's sake. Is there a time and a place to have conversation about the lack of diversity in our television programming? Yes. Is there a time and a place to historically analyze, some of the key TV shows and maybe how they contributed to a lack of diversity in society? Yes. This was the Friends reunion. It was just a chance for people to watch some old friends get back together again. I love Tom Squitieri, our national correspondent. I loved his analogy last hour, Biff. It's like going to your high school reunion. I'm going to go to my 50th high school reunion this year. And with a couple of exceptions where I know I'm going to have some political conversation. We're not going to talk politics. Another thing that a couple of the tweet threads were talking about, why didn't they discuss how much money these people made from the show? When we go to the reunion, there'll probably be some baloney going, do you know how much money I make? But nobody's going to be asking how much money did you make. We're going to ask, how are your grandkids? Do you remember that time that we all got so drunk? I mean, that's what a reunion is. And that's what this reunion of Friends was. It was just designed to bring old friends together, i.e. the group. And did they make a fortune when they were on the show? Yes. And were they paid a fortune for the reunion? Yes. Do I care one bit? No. Not at all. Not at all. Was there an elephant in the room during the reunion special? Yes. Was that Matthew Perry's clear difficulty of some kind? We know he's had substance abuse problems in the past. Is he still fighting them? I don't know. Some people think he may have actually been high during the taping of it. I don't know. He didn't contribute very much. He certainly didn't look very good. The producers were wisely just didn't really bring him he was on the bench with everybody and offered a few comments, but, the other actors had most of the conversation. And is that a sad comment? Yes. And is there room for conversation about Matthew Perry and his drug abuse? Yes. This was just a group of friends getting together. I mean, am I wrong, Biff?
No, I mean, I didn't even watch it, but I mean, yeah, it was just something people watch to take their mind off of whatever else was going on.
It was just a fun way to kill a couple of hours and, with some old quote friends and learn a little bit about behind the scenes stuff. James Michael Tyler, who played Gunther, only made a brief appearance, and he made it only on video, but he talked about his very first day of shooting on Friends.
I remember the filming that first episode vividly, walking on the set. I started as background. I wasn't even as cast in anything. I just went on to be coffee guy. And I was coffee guy for a year and a half. And I remember meeting or seeing, the 6 main actors, and they seemed like they'd known each other forever. I mean, they were hanging around and talking, and they just seemed like they were already really good friends. And I thought, this might go somewhere, actually.
As a entertainment type person, if I had one criticism of the show, it would be that certain people didn't get enough time. I would like to have seen and heard more from Gunther. I'm not sure why he was on video. He may have been doing some other work someplace else. I don't know why they gave him just 1 minute. That seemed to me a little bit short. I was really disappointed. Elliot Gould and Christina Pickles, who played Ross and Rachel's mom and dad. Elliot Gould, for God's sake. I mean, that man's a superstar. And they were just sitting in the audience, and they gave him literally 30 seconds. And I think they could have done more. But that's really me as a TV critic, not social critic, a TV critic talking about that. Maggie Wheeler, maybe you don't know who Maggie Wheeler is, but if you watch Friends and I go, oh my God, you will remember that she played Janice on Friends. And she made an appearance. She was asked, why do you think Friends was such a big deal?
In a strange way, it feels like the show never ended because it's always been on television. People always have continued to watch it. One audience after another has picked it up, including, of course, the diehard fans from the beginning who stayed with it and watched the reruns. And now there's this, amazing boom of new viewers through Netflix, and I think it's pretty fantastic.
The show debuted September 22nd, 1994, ended May 6th, 2004, ran for 236 episodes, 10 seasons. How many were in the top 10 ratings? All of them. Every season they had, they were in the top 10. The lowest they were ever rated was number 8, and that was in season 1. Of course, the through line, probably the biggest through line of the whole show, was the on-again, off-again relationship between Ross and Rachel, Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer. One little tidbit that did come out during the reunion special was that those two, the actors, had a thing for each other during the first season.
Yeah, the first season, I had a major crush on Jen. And I think we both, at some point, we were both crushing hard on each other, but it was like two ships passing because one of us was always in a relationship, and we never crossed that boundary.
Honestly, and I remember saying one time to David, it's going to be such a bummer if the first time you and I actually kiss is going to be on national television. Sure enough, first time we kissed was in that coffee shop. So we just channeled all of our adoration and love for each other into Ross and Rachel.
There was a great segment right in that moment, in that little clip you heard, when David Schwimmer is saying, but we never crossed that boundary. And Matt LeBlanc, who played Joey, he leans over, he's drinking a cup of coffee, he goes, bull crap. Implying that maybe they did cross the line. We'll never know. We'll never know. Do I have time for one more clip, or do I have to move on, Biffy?
No, we can get it in real quick.
All right. Lady Gaga made an appearance, and it was so cute because it's so appropriate. If y'all remember Phoebe on the show, smelly cat, smelly cat. Lady Gaga came in and helped out with Smelly Cat.
Smelly cat, what are they feeding you? Smelly cat, it's not your fault.
So my point of all this just was, it was a really fun couple of hours, and I am so sick and tired of people who want to make everything somehow a big social justice issue. Nobody believes in social justice more than I do. Nobody is concerned about diversity more than I am. Nobody wants to see television reflect a different perspective more than I do. But I just wanted to sit down, like with a bowl of ice cream, and watch the show And it drove me crazy when I read some of the reviews in the Twitter threads. Just drove me crazy. All right, let's go over to the Big 7, WTRF TV, and see what they're working on today. Bob Westfall is with us. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Howard. How are you?
I'm good. Did you have a good holiday weekend? I know you were at work yesterday, right?
I did. First word of advice, don't read the comments.
Yes.
Never read the comments.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I should learn that by now.
That's where you start. So, but anyway, my holiday was pretty good. Was here for most of the day, but it was a beautiful day once I got out. So, not bad at all.
What you got coming up today? Some exciting stuff, I'm sure.
All right, a couple things we're working on. Big issues in Elm Grove tomorrow. Monument Bridge in Elm Grove will be closed. It's necessary to work on the bridge. It's in pretty bad shape. This is going to last till the end of October of next year. So the detour is Route 40, National Road to I-70, east-westbound to Washington Avenue. So we're going to try and preview that, trying to get the word out to everybody. In addition to what's going on with the bridge project, now there's a smaller bridge that's going to add to your headache if you're going through the Elm Grove area.
And while the detour you just mentioned is the Department of Highways recommended detour, I guarantee you a lot of folks are going to be using the back roads of Elm Grove, Lumber Avenue and Junior Avenue, and it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. Bring your patience. And give yourself a lot of time to plan because it's going to take a while to get around.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that begins tomorrow. We're going to preview that today. That's some of the bigger things going. That's the big thing going on starting tomorrow. So just getting the word out on that. A couple other things we're working on out of Bel Air. The NPR, it's a transload transportation center. Just received $9.5 million. They're going to invest, $9.5 million in expansion of rail services. So that's a huge chunk of money going to Bel Air, to Belmont County. So we're gonna talk to the people today, get an update on what this means. Does it mean more jobs, things like that? So this is improvement to the Bel Air facility. So we got the word on this, I think, Thursday or Friday. With the holiday and stuff in the way, they finally can talk to us today. So a little bit of update on some good news going to Belmont County today, so we'll have that as well. What else are we looking at? Story out of kind of an international story. Microchip shortage is actually affecting the automobile industry. Obviously, with all the electronics in vehicles now, you need these microchips. It's slowing down the business. I know we've talked to a couple dealers when it comes to buying used cars now and things like that. It's causing prices to go up. So this chip shortage looks like it may be coming to an end, but when it comes to automobiles and things like that, it may ripple until the end of the year. So we're going to talk to our friend Mike Major, and he's going to explain how this is affecting the auto industry.
Cool.
So we've got Attorney General Patrick Morrissey in today. He's got 3 different stops. So we're going to catch up to him as one of his stops this evening in Wheeling. He's holding a business.
He's on broadband, right? Isn't broadband his topic?
Broadband, and a couple other things. So we're going to catch up to him on that. He's got a job roundtable this evening to do as well. So he's traveling Northern Panhandle, so we're going to catch up to him this evening and just see what he's got cooking. So a little bit of everything. Weather looks like it's a little calm. Tomorrow it looks like it's going to start raining again, so we'll have that. Of course, sports, my Kansas City Royals beat up on the Pittsburgh Pirates last night, so all is good in the world. So those are some of the bigger things we're working on today.
Check it out at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 statewide show, always at WTRF.com. Bob, I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, my friend. We'll have a good day, and we'll talk tomorrow. And Biffy, I got to get out of here. Good Lord willing, creeks don't rise. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, and the go around of the big gig. Are you back with me?
I'm back tomorrow.
We'll keep on doing it till we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed. ABC News already in progress.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Advantage businesses by 50%. An estimated one.
All right. Well, I didn't hit the news. I think I did hit it at 8 o'clock, didn't I? Hit it 1 hour out of the 3. So I just hate it when I'm so far behind, but it's just the way I am. All right. Erica Storch tomorrow, if she remembers. That's all I've got. I may have something else. I've got a couple of things I'm thinking about trying to squeeze into 8:40. We'll have to wait and see. But at least we've got that. And Teddy is off school, so he's with us all the time now. So I'll be playing a lot of games and probably running up and down the hill again. Uh-oh. Oh, jeez. Yeah, it could be. Or that sounds to me like somebody who's got a problem himself, you know. Judge doesn't let him have custody. Sounds personal. And I hate to get into those things. Yeah, No. And we weren't doing, sort of anything goes, call in what you want, kind of open lines. We weren't into that, so. But even if we were, those kind of things, they scare me because it's usually somebody who's got an axe to grind, Do you know that Judge Fajardo wouldn't let me see this? Oh, God, I'm just, that's the kind of stuff I want to stay away from. Where was it from? Was there? Do we have caller ID? Where was it from? Could you tell? Okay, all right. Yeah, no. I completely agree with you. Okay, yeah, I first place, we had too much else to do. I mean, we were on the wire and we were on the, we were running out of time. So, and secondly, open up something like that. Even if I had skipped the Friends thing, there's not enough time to get it. If we did take it, it's going to be in, a long conversation. That's what I'm thinking. I'm this kind of stuff usually is somebody who's got a personal axe to grind. You know what I mean? So you did right. But at least I know in case anybody said anything. I didn't text Kayleen earlier. I'll text her now. But if you see her or Lola, remind him to make sure we get a login there for VLY. I forgot about that after we talked about it. I'll be here all day as far as I know, so if you need me, call me. Otherwise, I'll just talk to you in the morning. All right, appreciate your help as always. Good show today. Thanks. All right, bye.
News. Okay, my shipments have to get to customers on time and looking good.
It's possible with Staples Connect. Staples Connect has small business shipping covered with premium shipping supplies, custom labels, and UPS shipping services. And now, buy 2, get 1 free on decorative shipping supplies. Plus, get 20% off UPS Express shipping services. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. N73, visit staplesconnect.com/shipping for details.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. When you join Brad Leonard and me weekday mornings from 7 to 10 for the Watchdog Morning Show, we'll have all the top stories of the day. We'll go behind the scenes with some informative guests giving you some interesting information. And, of course, some off-the-wall, off-the-beaten-path kind of issues and stories that you may not hear in the top headlines. Plus, your news, your sports, your weather. Zach Petty, Bill DeFabio, Tony Caridi. We're just your morning breakfast club, getting together and chewing the fat. Hope you'll join us weekday, 7 to 10. The Watchdog Morning Show right here.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Tuesday. Mostly cloudy skies, a daytime high near 77. Clouds holding strong through the evening and the overnight. Chance of scattered showers with temperatures down to about 58 degrees. Mostly cloudy with a few sprinkles in the forecast, maybe a light shower late in the day for your Wednesday with highs in the lower 70s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Metro News Radio Network, we're underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
Holy smoke. From the studios of the West Virginia Radio Corporation and the Metro News Radio Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful radio show in West Virginia. This is Metro News Talk Live with Hoppy Kercheval.
Check set line up, link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Hoppy. You're on.
Metro News Talk Line with Hoppy Kercheval is brought to you by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good